Alrighty, so it is that time of year again. So I'm recording this the night before the 2024 Oscar nomination announcements. I know it's been a very long time since I've posted any videos at all. The last time I posted any video at all was when I posted my reaction to the 2023 Oscar nominations. I apologize for the length of time it's been since I've posted anything. There's been a lot going on. I'll go into that another time. But let's go ahead and get the ball rolling on some predictions that I have for tomorrow morning's announcements. What you're going to find is that a lot of the stuff that I have for predictions is very close to what's listed on Gold Derby, but we're going to see some differences too. Let's start with Best Live Action Shorts. So I will admit that I know nothing about any of these except for the very first one, The Wonderful World of Henry Sugar. So basically, I do think that's going to get nominated. The other ones that I think are going to get nominated, basically the first 5 in the list here. I just picked The After, The Anne Frank Gift Shop, The Shepherd, and Strange Way of Life. Now, moving on up to Best Documentary Short, what I've got here is basically the exact same thing that we have in the list on Gold Derby. What we've got are The ABCs of Book Banning, The Last Repair Shop, Last Song from Kabul, Deciding Vote, and The Barber of Little Rock. Now, the next one that I have is where we start to differ a little bit. So, Best Animated Short. This is one where we kind of saw a running theme last year where we had some really nifty titles getting into the spots, and not very many of these have amazing titles, but let's just admit, Once Upon a Studio is probably getting in, Letter to a Pig is probably getting in, War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko, is getting in, and the other ones, although they are not the next picks on Gold Derby, they're the closest ones that I could think of to interesting titles, which is literally the only reason why I picked them. I'm Hick, and boom. Now, let's get to Best International Film, which is where I start to kind of a little bit have an idea of what I'm talking about here, although I don't really think I know much about these ones, but the big one that everybody's talking about right now is The Zone of Interest. That's definitely getting in. It's probably winning. The next ones that I have on here are pretty much exactly what's listed on Gold Derby. I think that it's going to be Society of the Snow, Fallen Leaves, The Taste of Things, and 20 Days in Mariupol. Now, Best Documentary Feature, what I have here is a little bit different from what is also listed on Gold Derby, although not very much. So one of the things that we've noticed is that a lot of the time, one of the big ones that people are expecting to get into Best Documentary Feature ends up getting snubbed and not even getting a nomination. I don't think that's going to really happen this year. I still think that the front runner for everybody, 20 Days in Mariupol, is going to get in and probably win. I think that American Symphony is going to get in. I think that Beyond Utopia is going to get in. I do think that still a Michael J. Fox movie is going to get in. What I'm thinking is that instead of Four Daughters getting in the 5th spot, it's going to be The Eternal Memory. So that's what I'm thinking might end up happening here. Now we're going to move on to Best Animated Feature. I have some weird choices here. The big 2 right now that are up for contention, most likely Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is going to win. It's definitely getting a nomination. I do think that if anything has a chance to beat Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, it's going to be The Boy and the Heron, because this is the big Hayao Miyazaki one, which is kind of like their big comeback feature. It's getting a lot of attention right now. So Elemental is probably going to be the next one, then Nimona. Now, most people are going either Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem or Suzume for the next pick, and some people are picking Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget. What I think, or rather what I'm hoping happens, I don't really even think it's going to happen. What I would be ecstatic to see is the first Slam Dunk getting a nomination. I will admit that I have not seen the movie all the way through yet, but I know that it is one of the big underdog animated films of the year. It's one that pretty much everybody who saw it loved. And what's happening is it's not getting any awards recognition. I'm starting to think that this might be the chance where it gets some. But I am expecting to be very wrong on that. For my other contenders here, which this is the first one where I put other contenders, these are the ones where I'm really kind of variable on what's going to happen. If First Slam Dunk doesn't get in, I think it's going to be either Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, or Suzume. Now, best visual effects. What I think is going to happen here is it's going to be very close to what we see here. What I think is going to happen is that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is going to get nominated and even win. The creator, even though there was a little bit of controversy around what they did in the trailer or what they supposedly did in the trailer, I think it's going to get in for a nomination as well as Poor Things, Godzilla -1, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I think that one's going to get in. And then Society of the Snow is another one that I have as a possible contender here. As weird as it sounds to say, I really highly doubt Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is getting in. I think the next best chance, even though there are two other ones listed on Gold Derby up here, I think the next best chance is probably Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Now, going up to Best Sound. I know it's weird because in my document here I'm scrolling down and on the page here I'm scrolling up. Weird setup, I know. Best Sound. Oppenheimer is winning this one. I know that there's a lot of debate about whether it's going to be that or Zone of Interest, because Zone of Interest has incredible sound design, and any other year I think it would win. I think Oppenheimer's going to win. Zone of Interest is definitely getting nominated, as is Maestro. Ferrari is probably getting in, and I know that a lot of people think that Killers of the Flower Moon is the next best spot. I think it's actually going to be Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Killers of the Flower Moon is next, and then maybe Snowball's Chance Napoleon. The other ones I don't think have a shot of getting in. Now, best song. Here's what I think. So, for best song, what we've got is a little bit of a different thing from what we see on Gold Derby. What I think is that Barbie's What Was I Made For is definitely going to get in and probably win. If not, it's going to be Barbie's I'm Just Ken. Rust and Road to Freedom is probably getting in. Keep It Movin' from Color Purple is actually what I have in my 4th spot. And I know some people don't think it's going to get in, but I do think that one's going to get in. And then I think that the next best chance is It Never Went Away from American Symphony, and then The Fire Inside by Flamin' Hot. Or In Framin' Hot. Now, best score. This is unequivocally going to Oppenheimer. This one, Oppenheimer's probably winning. It's definitely getting a nomination. Killers of the Flower Moon is getting a nomination, as is Poor Things. Zone of Interest is probably the one that's getting in. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is going to get in, and I would love that. But here's the thing. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I know most people really do not like this movie, and I do not think it's going to be an awards darling. But John Williams, Indiana Jones, come on guys, he's going to get that 5th spot. He's not winning, but I think he's going to get a nomination. Now, if I'm wrong about that, I think that could be easily swapped out with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, The Boy and the Heron, or The Color Purple. So, for Best Production Design, I honestly think that Barbie's winning this one. And I definitely think it's going to get a nomination. Poor Things is getting a nomination. Killers of the Flower Moon is getting a nomination. Oppenheimer's getting a nomination, and so is Zone of Interest. And then the next ones that I have are almost what we have right down this list. I think that The Color Purple, Asteroid City, Napoleon, and Nonka are potential other contenders. Now, Best Makeup and Hairstyling. I do not think that Maestro is winning this one, although I think it's going to get a nomination. I think that this one's probably actually going to go to Poor Things as the winner. But Poor Things and Maestro are both definitely getting nominations. I think that next we're going to see Oppenheimer. Golda, I will admit, I don't really know anything about this movie, and the first exposure I had to seeing anything for it was the still that they have on Gold Derby. I'm probably going to be very, very wrong in not picking this one, but I think that the next nominees are going to be Society of the Snow and Killers of the Flower Moon. I know I'm going to be wrong and that Golda is probably getting in, but we'll see. Now, best film editing. Let's see. What we're going to get here, I think, Oppenheimer's winning, so it's going to get a nomination. Killers of the Flower Moon's probably getting a nomination. Poor Things is almost definitely getting a nomination. Now, Holdovers, I think, is the next best shot at getting a nomination. People on Gold Derby are picking Barbie for the 5th spot, but I think what's going to actually happen is that Anatomy of a Fall is going to get that 5th spot. I think Anatomy of the Fall is going to be the next nominee. I think other contenders are Barbie and Zone of Interest. Now, Best Costume Design. I really think that Barbie is going to take this award home. I will be shocked if it doesn't get a nomination. I think that it's definitely getting a nomination, along with Poor Things, Oppenheimer, The Color Purple, and Killers of the Flower Moon. I think that other contenders are Napoleon and Wonka. Now, let's see. Best Cinematography. Another one where, I mean, we could have what happened with Top Gun Maverick last year, where everybody thought that this one was going to win, but it didn't get a nomination. I highly doubt that's happening this year. I think that Oppenheimer's taking this one home. I will be shocked if it doesn't get a nomination. I do think it's going to win. If not that, I think that Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, Maestro, and I know this is going to be an odd choice. A lot of people think that it's going to be Zone of Interest, but I'm actually thinking that if there's any love that Saltburn's going to give it all, it's going to get it in cinematography. So I picked Saltburn as the 5th spot. Again, I have a very strong feeling I'm going to be wrong on that. Other contender, I think, is Zone of Interest. So, Best Original Screenplay. Now, a lot of people are thinking that this one's going to take it home. I don't necessarily think that. I think that it's actually a 3-way tie between the 3 that they have on Gold Derby and the ones that I picked as the top most likely to get nominations here, which are Holdovers, Past Lives, and Anatomy of a Fall. Now, the other ones that I think are going to get in are what they have listed on Gold Derby. I think that it's going to be May, December, and Maestro. If it's not one of those last 2, I think they could be easily switched out for Saltburn and Air. Unfortunately, I do not think Air is getting any other nominations or any nominations at all, but if it gets one, I think it's going to be in Screenplay. Now, for Adapted Screenplay, what I think is going to happen is that Oppenheimer's going to take the award home. I think that Poor Things, American Fiction, Killers of the Flower Moon, and although they have Barbie listed on Gold Derby, I'm going to pick Zone of Interest. I think that those are going to be the 5 nominees. If it's not one of those, I think the next possible contenders are Barbie and All of Us Strangers. Best Supporting Actor. Here's where we get into something that a lot of people are going to think is very strange as a pick for me. So, Robert Downey Jr. is the favorite to win the award this year. And that's very understandable. I do think it's going to happen. He's definitely getting a nomination for Oppenheimer. I think he's going to win. Ryan Gosling is getting a nomination for Best Supporting Actor for Barbie. And then I think that Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon and Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. Here's where my thoughts differ. Most people are thinking that Willem Dafoe is going to get the 5th slot for Poor Things. I would not be shocked at all if that happens. Willem Dafoe is honestly a fantastic actor, long overdue for an Oscar, and people love him. I'm not going to lie about that. I love the guy. But here's what I also think. The award for Best Supporting Actor and the nominations that we get have a history of having some oddities in there that made people go, nobody was expecting this. A few years back, we had Lakeith Stanfield nominated in this for Judas and the Black Messiah, when everybody thought that he was only going to be eligible for the leading actor role. And let's face it, he and Daniel Kaluuya were both nominated in that category, and everybody was going, what the heck's going on? Who's the lead? Now, I'm very happy that he got nominated there, but very odd, out-of-nowhere choice, considering the category. Another thing is a few years ago when, out of nowhere, J.K. Simmons got nominated for. I feel bad because I can't even remember the name of the movie. The one about. I Love Lucy, Lucille Ball. Basically, he got a nomination for that. No one was really expecting it. And that's why I'm going to go out on a very probably dangerous limb here and say that the fifth spot's going to go to Dominic Sessa. Dominic Sessa from The Holdovers. Now, part of the reason is the stuff that I just mentioned, but let's be honest. I really like The Holdovers, and the role that Dominic Sessa plays, it's the first role he's ever had in a feature film, in any film at all. And basically, his character, as written on the page, seems like somebody who you would find extremely annoying, seems like somebody who you would not be able to get behind at all. But this guy, in his first role ever, basically makes you really feel for this kid. And because of that, and the stuff that I mentioned before, I'm going to gamble and say that Dominic Sessa is getting an Oscar nomination here. Now, if he doesn't, the next most likely are Willem Dafoe for Poor Things, Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction, which I would love to see, and Charles Melton for May December. So, Best Supporting Actress. So, this is one that I think everybody else can agree with. Divine Joey Randolph is taking this one home. There's no way she's not getting a nomination. I will be shocked if she doesn't win. She's getting in there. I think Emily Blunt's getting in for Oppenheimer. I think Danielle Brooks is getting in for The Color Purple. I think Jodie Foster is getting in for Nyad. Best Supporting Actress is one that usually sticks a lot with what people are expecting on Gold Derby, except for the year that Jessie Buckley got a nomination for The Lost Daughter. I think that Julianne Moore is getting in for May December, instead of what a lot of people think that Penelope Cruz is getting in for Ferrari, because no one's talking about Ferrari. Although nobody's talking about May December either. But I have a feeling if Julianne Moore doesn't get in, Penelope Cruz is getting in for Ferrari, Sandra Huller is getting in for The Zone of Interest, although I think that's a little bit unlikely considering she's, well, you'll see what my next predictions are in a minute. But Taraji P. Henson also has a chance for getting in for The Color Purple. Now, Best Actor, this is one where people are pretty well aligned, and I honestly am too, except for maybe the fifth spot, which is always kind of variable. I definitely think that Cillian Murphy is getting in for Oppenheimer, and I think he's probably winning. If it's not him, it's going to be Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers. I just realized I mispronounced Cillian Murphy's name. Hooray. Bradley Cooper's getting in for Maestro. Jeffrey Wright is getting in for American Fiction. I will be pretty mad if he doesn't. I just saw that movie not that long ago, and it was awesome. Coleman Domingo, I think, is going to take that fifth spot for Rustin. If it's not him, then I think that the next spot could either go to Leonardo DiCaprio for Killers of the Flower Moon, Andrew Scott for All of Us Strangers, Barry Keoghan for Saltburn, and Tia Yu for Past Lives. Best Actress. So, I've got another curveball here. I'm thinking that for Best Actress, what we're going to see is Emma Stone's probably winning for Poor Things. If she doesn't win, it's going to be Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon. Both of them are definitely getting nominations. Margot Robbie, I think, is going to get in for Barbie. And Sandra Huller, I think, is going to get in for Anatomy of a Fall. Best Actress is also a category where we often see some really weird choices, or really unexpected choices, I should say. I shouldn't say weird, because pretty much everybody who is even up for contention here did a fantastic job. But instead of what a lot of people are thinking, which is that Carey Mulligan is going to get in for Maestro, I think we're going to get a curveball, and we're going to see Greta Lee get in for Past Lives. Now, if it's not that, I think it's going to be Carey Mulligan for Maestro. I think this one is extremely unlikely, but another contender is Annette Bening for Nyad. So, what we got next is Best Director. Another one where we often get a really out-of-nowhere seeming choice. in that 5th spot. So, I do think that this is going to be the year that Christopher Nolan wins for Oppenheimer. I think that Martin Scorsese is getting nominated for Killers of the Flower Moon. I think that Yorgos Lanthimos is getting nominated for Poor Things. This is where it gets a little spotty. I really want Greta Gerwig to get nominated for Barbie. But what we have seen is that the 5th spot often goes to somebody completely unexpected. And what we've seen a few times is that when it goes to somebody unexpected, it's gone to somebody who is being nominated for international film. Or somebody who is making a indie film, or something very similar to that. Or a hard-hitting drama. What I think is going to happen is instead of it being Jonathan Glazer for Zone of Interest and Greta Gerwig for Barbie, I think one of them is getting knocked out. I don't want to knock out Greta Gerwig, because I think she's a fantastic director. But I think that if I had to pick from the two of them as most likely of what's going to happen, I think the weird thing that's going to happen is that Justin Triet is going to get nominated for Anatomy of a Fall. And if she's taking the 5th spot, I think the 4th spot's going to Jonathan Glazer for Zone of Interest. I'm probably very wrong there, but if I am, it's going to be Greta Gerwig for Barbie or Alexander Payne for The Holdovers. Although I think the more likely one to get in is Greta Gerwig. Now, here's where it goes to Best Picture. And my choices for Best Picture are verbatim what is on the top 10 on Gold Derby. It's not anything to write home about in terms of being off-the-wall predictions. I think this is going to be it. I think it's going to be Oppenheimer, and I do think that's winning Best Picture. Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, The Holdovers, Barbie, American Fiction, Past Lives, Maestro, Anatomy of a Fall, and Zone of Interest. If any of those are not getting nominations, I think that the other contenders are The Color Purple, All of Us Strangers, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And those are my predictions. Tomorrow morning, we will see just how wrong I am.
Hello, everyone. I am so honored to be here. How about you, Zassi?
Yeah, I'm super honored to be here. 93 countries. And standing here now is such a surreal experience. My little girl self is so excited to be here. Honestly, my adult self is really excited to be here, so.
For anyone in the film industry, no matter where you're from, to be recognized by the Academy is a dream come true.
To be nominated
Just so you know,
can be
guys,
life-changing.
one of the reasons why
So,
I'm looking
let's
around
get
all
into
over
it.
Okay.
is because my monitor
For
setup is a little
best
different from
performance
usual.
by an actor in a supporting role,
Best Supporting Actor first.
Sterling K. Brown in American Fiction.
He got in. Holy shit. Nice.
Robert De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon. Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer.
So it's probably going to be Gosling and Ruffalo.
Ryan Gosling in Barbie.
Okay.
And Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things.
All right, so no Dominic Sessa. I was wrong, but I was right that they traded somebody for Willem Dafoe. And now we're going to costume
Barbie.
design.
Killers of the Flower Moon. Napoleon.
Napoleon got in. Okay.
Oppenheimer.
It's going to be Poor Things.
And Poor Things.
Okay, so Color Purple did not get in. Poor Things did. Or,
The nominees for
Napoleon did.
achievement in makeup and hairstyling are
all right.
Golda,
The one that I had no idea about that got in.
Maestro,
Okay. Maestro.
Oppenheimer,
Okay.
Poor Things,
All right.
and Society of the Snow.
All right. So I'm 4 for 5 on that one. Like
Now,
almost all of these so
this
far.
year's nominees for Best
think all of them.
Live Action Short Film.
All right. I won't know any of these
The
except
After.
for. Okay, I got that one. The only one I saw is Wonderful Story of
Invincible.
Henry Sugar. Invincible, I didn't pick.
Night of Fortune.
Night of Fortune I didn't pick.
Red, White, and Blue.
Red, White, and Blue I didn't pick.
And The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar.
Okay, so I picked 2 out of the 5 nominees on that one. Although,
For
I was not
Best
expecting to be
Animated
right at
Short
all.
Film, the nominees are Letter to a Pig,
Okay.
95 Senses,
Alright.
Our Uniform, Pashidam, and War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko.
So the favorite that everybody had, Once Upon a Studio, did not get in.
Now,
This is
we
the
have first
big
of the
animated
2
short
award
shot this year, I
categories
guess.
Honoring writers. First, for adapted screenplay.
I love this category.
The nominees
Let's go.
are American Fiction.
Hell yes.
Screen by Cord Jefferson. Barbie.
Barbie got in,
By Greta
so
Gerwig and Noah
not too bad
Baumbach.
about that, but I didn't pick it.
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer
Ready for
got
the
in.
Screen by Christopher Nolan. Poor Things. Screenplay by Tony McNamara.
So Killers of the Flower Moon is not
And
getting in. It's
The
Zone of Interest.
Written by Jonathan Glazer.
Alright.
And for original screenplay, the nominees are Anatomy of a Fall,
Knew that one was
Screenplay,
getting in.
Justine Triet and Artur Arari. The Holdovers,
Hell yeah.
written by David Hemmingson. Maestro, written by Bradley Cooper and Josh Singer. May December,
Okay, good.
screenplay by Sammy
And
Birch,
then Past
story
Lives.
by Sammy Birch and Alex Mechanic.
Is it going to be Past Lives?
And Past Lives,
Okay, there we go.
by Celine Song.
Nice. Finally 5 for 5 in something.
Last, before our break, the nominees
Supporting
for
actress.
performance by an actress in a supporting role.
Okay, let's see what happens
Emily
here.
Blunt in Oppenheimer.
Good.
Danielle Brooks in The Color
Awesome.
Purple.
You guys better nominate Divine Joy Randolph.
America Ferrera.
Oh, nice. America Ferrera got in. I didn't think she was going to
Jodie
get in.
Foster in Nyad.
Jodie Foster and Nyad.
And Divine Joy Randolph
Good.
in The Holdovers.
Okay, very good. I was going to say, she better get in.
Congratulations to the nominees, and there are more to come.
Stick with us. We will be right back with more nominations.
All right. So, pretty cool stuff so far.
That was exciting. Okay, so that was the first round of the Oscar nominations this morning, and we have a lot to talk about. ABC News
Alrighty.
contributor and Sirius
So,
XM Radio
not that I don't
News
want to
who's
listen to
not
these
at all
guys,
excited.
but I'm going to put
And
this on
senior
mute real
award
quick. So, Sterling K. Brown got in for Best Supporting Actor. I was honestly really happy to see that. He deserved that one. And, I mean, let's put it this way. If somebody other than Dominic Sessa is going to get in, or Willem Dafoe, I'm glad it's him. I had a really weird feeling that somebody would get in over Willem Dafoe. And I was thinking it might be Dominic Sessa. Kind of disappointed that it's not. But at the same time, I'm very happy that it's Sterling K. Brown. Also, America Ferrera getting in for Barbie, which I'm assuming they're talking about right now. Basically, she got a lot of buzz when Barbie came out, but kind of fell off. And now I'm glad that she actually got in. It's honestly really cool to see. This tells me that Margot Robbie is definitely getting in for Best Actress. And one thing I will say, in addition to that, is I know I didn't know anything about any of the shorts, except for The Wonderful Life of Henry Sugar. Can't even talk this morning. But, I mean, what I want to do is what I try to do every year, which is see if I can see all the shorts before the actual ceremony. By the way, 2 things to also address before we start again. Yes, I did move my camera. Like I said, I've got a different setup from what I used to have in the past. In addition, we are undergoing a little bit of an ice storm right now. So, you know, taking that as it comes. Hopefully it's not as bad as everybody says. I mean, I went out there this morning. It didn't seem too bad, but the real variable are how the roads are going to be.
Welcome back, guys.
Here we go.
Live from the Academy in Beverly Hills, where we have the privilege of announcing the nominees for the Oscars.
What an exciting lineup so far. What's up next?
The nominees for achievement in music, original song.
Here we go.
The Fire Inside from Flamin' Hot.
The one that I said was not going to get in. It got announced first, but that's awesome. That's awesome that got in.
I'm Just Ken from Barbie. It Never Went Away from American Symphony.
What was I made for better get in?
Wajaji, A Song for My People from Killers of the Flower Moon.
That's pretty cool. I was not expecting that.
And What Was I Made For from Barbie.
So, Color Purple
Next up,
and Rustin
the
did not get their
nominees for
songs in.
Achievement in music, original
okay.
score. American Fiction.
Whoa, nice.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
I told you guys. I told you.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
I told you.
Oppenheimer. And Poor Things.
Zone of Interest didn't get in, but American Fiction did.
And
That's
now,
awesome.
The nominees for Best Documentary Feature Film. Bobby Wine, The People's President.
Okay, I didn't pick that one.
The Eternal Memory. Four Daughters.
Okay, so $4 got in.
To Kill a Tiger.
I did really bad in this one.
And 20 Days in Mariupol.
They didn't nominate still a Michael J. Fox movie. I think a lot of people are going to be
For Best
disappointed in that.
Documentary short film. The
But
nominees
at
are
least they got 20 Days in Mariupol.
The ABCs of Book Banning,
Okay,
The Barber of Little Rock,
okay.
Island in Between,
Did not pick that one.
The Last Repair Shop,
Did pick that one.
and Nai Nai and Waipo.
Yeah, I gotta see these. I've heard good things
For Best International
about the ones that I know
Feature
about
Film,
a little
the
bit.
nominees are Io Capitano, Italy.
I did not pick that one.
Perfect Days, Japan.
I didn't pick that one either.
Society of the Snow, Spain. The Teacher's Lounge, Germany.
Please don't snub Zone of Interest.
And The Zone of Interest.
Okay,
United
good.
Kingdom.
And for Best Animated Feature Film, here are the nominees.
Okay, here we go.
The Boy and the Heron,
Knew that one was gonna get in.
Elemental,
Knew that was gonna get in.
Nimona,
The first slam dunk is not getting in. That was a stupid
Robot
pick for me.
Dreams,
Robot Dreams. Holy
and
shit.
Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse.
Here are the nominees for Achievement in Production Design. Barbie.
Knew that one.
Killers
That's probably
of the
winning.
Flower Moon.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Napoleon.
Didn't pick Napoleon. I should have picked Napoleon.
Oppenheimer. And Poor Things.
Zone of Interest is not getting in. But Napoleon getting in over that
Next
is
up, for
okay.
achievement in film editing, the nominees are Anatomy of a Fall,
I knew it.
The Holdovers,
Okay,
Killers of the Flower Moon,
good. Poor Things in Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer,
Is it going to be Poor Things?
and Poor Things.
There we go.
And for Achievement in Sound, here are the nominees. The Creator. Maestro. Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, Part 1.
So I was right about Dead Reckoning.
Oppenheimer. And The Zone of Interest.
All right. So instead of
Next,
Ferrari,
the nominees for achievement in visual effects. The Creator,
the creator got in.
Godzilla -1,
Hell yes.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3,
Awesome.
Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, Part 1,
Didn't pick that one,
and
but
Napoleon.
that's awesome. Napoleon. Okay.
For achievement in cinematography, the nominees are
Okay.
El Conde,
Did not pick that one. But that's awesome to
Killers
hear.
of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer,
I was gonna say you better not sub that.
and Poor Things.
Okay, so Saltburn didn't get in, but Okonde did. That's
For
pretty cool.
performance by an actor in a leading role.
Okay, let's go.
Bradley Cooper in Maestro.
Knew that was gonna happen.
Coleman Domingo.
Okay, cool. So, Paul Giamatti,
Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers.
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer.
I said his name right this time.
And Jeffrey Wright.
Hell
American
yes.
Fiction.
I am very glad to see this. Not just because I predicted it,
For
but because it's what I
performance
wanted.
by an actress in a leading role,
Okay. Let's see how this goes.
Annette Bening in Naya,
Holy shit, she got in. There's gonna be a snub.
Lily Gladstone.
Good.
in Killers of the Flower Moon. Sandra Julia. in
Good.
Anatomy of a Fall. Carey Mulligan in Maestro.
Margot Robbie or Emma Stone.
And Emma Stone in Poor Things.
They snubbed Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie
For
didn't get nominated for
achievement
Best
in
Actress.
Directing.
That's
The nominees
pretty shocking.
are
Not mad,
Justine
but that's
Triet,
shocking.
Anatomy of a Fall.
I told you guys she was gonna get in.
Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon. Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer. Yorgos Lanthimos, Poor Things. And Jonathan Glazer, The Zone
Dang.
of Interest.
I was right. I'm still disappointed that Greta Gerwig didn't get a directing nomination, but
Now for our final category.
I
Well,
can't wait.
my dog's barking.
Let's read them together.
My dog's barking.
Nominees for
Hold on
Best
one second,
Motion
guys.
Picture of the
This is gonna be
Year.
suspenseful. I'm going to pause this. I'll be right back. Alright, I think I convinced him that there was no one there. I think he thought he saw somebody outside. But anyway, let's go. Let's see what we got. Okay, American Fiction.
American Fiction.
Anatomy of a Fall.
Claire, Nikos Paramigos, Cora Jefferson, and Jermaine Johnson, producers.
Anatomy of a Fall. Marie-Ange Luciani and David Thion.
Barbie. David Heyman, Margot Robbie, Tom Ackerley, and Robbie Brenner.
I should have put my
producers.
picks in alphabetical order.
The Holdovers.
Okay.
Mark Johnson,
Cool.
producer.
So next is gonna be Killers of the
Killers
Flower
of
Moon.
the Flower Moon. Dan
Then
Franken,
Maestro.
Bradley Thomas, Martin Scorsese, and Daniel Lupi, producers.
Maestro. Bradley Cooper.
Okay.
Steven
And next
Spielberg,
is going to
Fred
be
Werner,
Oppenheimer.
Amy Durning and Christy McCosco Krieger, producers.
Oppenheimer. Emma Thomas, Charles Roven, and Christopher Nolan,
And then-
producers.
Poor Things.
Past Lives.
Oh, Past Lives.
David Hinojosa,
Awesome to see that's in there.
Christine Vachon,
Apparently, I don't know that PA comes before PO.
Poor Things. Ed Guiney, Andrew Lowe, Yorgos Lanthimos, and Emma Stone, producers.
And Zone of Interest.
And The Zone of Interest. James Wilson, producer.
All right, there we go.
Congratulations to this year's nominees.
It's been an honor to be with all of you this morning. And to all the nominees, as we say in the biz, break a leg.
Good luck to all the nominees. Watch the Oscars live with host Jimmy Kimmel on Sunday, March 10th. This year, the show will start at a new time, beginning 1 hour earlier at 7 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Pacific on ABC. We look forward to celebrating with you.
That's good for me because I'll be able to go to bed earlier.
All right, of all the things that Clayton is the most excited about that we just heard, he's the most excited that it's going to start a little bit earlier. So happy day. All right,
Me
there's a
too,
lot
dude.
to break. No Margot
I'm gonna
Robbie,
listen to this.
no Greta Gerwig.
Two huge misses. Listen, the Gerwig
I agree.
Unfortunately, I saw it coming. Again,
I agree. So I was not shocked that Greta Gerwig did not get a Best Director nomination. It does upset me a little bit, but I had a feeling that Justin Trier was going to get a nomination instead. I just had that weird feeling because they always do some weird pick. I'm not saying that's a bad pick, just something that nobody expects in the Best Director category. It happens almost every single year. It happened when they didn't nominate Denis Villeneuve for Dune. It happened with the director of Another Round. It happened with the director of Triangle of Sadness. It happens every single year, it seems like, or at least recently. And Margot Robbie was the one I was actually really surprised by because she was a front runner all year for being nominated at least for Best Actress. She didn't get in. I was not disappointed to see Annette Bening get in because I recently saw Nyad and that was a pretty good movie. And she was pretty good in the role. But it is kind of disappointing to not see Margot Robbie in there. I was kind of surprised I was 10 for 10 on the nominations for Best Picture because that never happens. What I will say is I'm very glad to see that Coleman Domingo and Jeffrey Wright got in for Best Actor. They definitely deserved it. And, I mean, yeah, I've got to say, this was not a bad list of nominations, I don't think. I will go ahead and see what happens on Oscar night. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.